But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's light in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roger, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1 0
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Well, good evening, and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Now, you know me. I've been thinking a lot about not just getting old, because I am, and there's no doubt about that. You get a little retrospective in you when you hit 50 years old, and I just did this past year. However, I think there's, as I like to say, wisdom to be found there. Well, for obvious reasons. One, you've been around the block a few times, but 2, 3, and 4, and 5 is all the things you've learned to do, all the things you've learned not to do, and in the spaces between. And tonight we're going to look at that. We're going to go back to 1986 and look at what that meant then and what it means now. Now, in that particular space, 1986, it was an interesting time. We were in the middle of something known as the Satanic Panic. We've talked a lot about that in the past, but something launched today by Mattel. Was it Mattel? Hasbro. I think Hasbro, actually. And anyway, let me just read you the thing. Instead of me rambling on, it's better to just do it like this. What's up, guys? Hope everybody is doing well tonight. Let me read this. Picture this. It's 1986. Your mother finds a Dungeons and Dragons manual in your room. She doesn't flip through it casually. She doesn't ask questions. She takes it outside, drops it in a metal trash can, and lights it on fire. You watch from the window as the pages curl and blacken. She's not angry. She's terrified. She truly believes that book could open a door in your mind that would let something dark crawl through. Now picture this. It's 2026. A mother walks into Target with her 8-year-old daughter. They head straight to the toy aisle. The girl's eyes light up when she sees the new Moonspell Magic dolls. Each one of them comes with a cauldron, a spellbook, potion bottles, and instructions for ritual magic. The mother reads at the back of the box. Love spells, crystal charging, moon rituals. She puts it in the cart. She's not scared. She's hopeful. She truly believes these tools could help her daughter with anxiety, with self-esteem, with finding her power in a chaotic world. Same practices, potion making, spell casting, ritual, but the moral charge reversed completely. The first mother was protecting her child from the occult. The second mother is prescribing it. And here's what makes this moment in history absolutely wild. Those Moonspell Magic dolls, they launch in July of 2026. I'll mark my place there. And the articles are down below if you want to check it out. I do recommend it. But I found this, and it was from toybook.com. And this just launched from the headline is this: Mattel delves further into the supernatural with Moonspell Magic by Monster High doll line. I'd never heard of any of this. Monster High? What the hell is that? I look into it. It's been a thing since 2016. Anyway, so read this. They're releasing these dolls in July. Anyway, back to this. Here's what makes this moment in history absolutely wild. Those Moonspell Magic dolls, like I said, they launch in July. But that's not just any July. That's the month America celebrates its 250th birthday. 250 years since the Declaration of Independence. A nation founded on enlightenment, rationalism, on reason over superstition, on breaking free from the old world's darkness. And we're marking that anniversary by putting witch dolls with working cauldrons into the hands of millions of children. Right? You see where I'm getting now, right? You could call that smart marketing. Or you could call it something else. Corporate magic, a literal invocation where business strategy fails. But here's the question that's going to sit with you for the next 2 hours. What if both mothers were right? What if the mom in 1986 correctly sensed that opening certain doors would lead down exactly to where we are now? And what if the mom in 2026 is also correct that these practices actually help troubled minds survive an increasingly broken world? What if the choice isn't between paranoia and progress? What if it's between two different understandings of what magic is and what it does to us? The Satanic Panic didn't lose. It didn't fade away into embarrassed cultural memory. It inverted. It turned inside out. The symbols stayed the same. Cauldrons, spells, rituals, potions. But we changed what we think they mean. And in July, during the full moon in Aquarius, 3 days after NATO meets in Turkey, while America celebrates 250 years of existence, children across this country are going to pour water into plastic cauldrons and watch hidden amulets appear. They'll be performing magic. The only question is, what kind? I'm Michael Strange, and that's the type of stuff that we like to think about, that I like to think about, that we like to talk about. And this is the question. Lots of questions tonight, but one of them is, how did the forbidden become therapeutic? How did the dangerous become inclusive? What about how witchcraft went from the thing that got you expelled to the thing that gets you a wellness brand deal? And of course, we want to hear from you. That's the goal tonight, to get a conversation going with people that are here, people that understand these ideas, people that recognize that everything is not a simple narrative from point A to point B, and that these things are complicated. But what does it mean? What does it mean in 2026? And how come, as usual, when you look to the past, we see echoes, we see mirrors of where we are, we see even inversions of such in such a short period of time? I'm lucky enough to still be alive. Many people didn't make it to 50. Okay, James Vanderbeek just passed away, rest in peace, at 47, colon cancer. It's horrific. This type of stuff, people do pass young, and it's terrible. I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones. I hope to be lucky for many more years, and to you and yours as well. But my point in bringing that up is, sometimes you look where you came from. You look at that 1986 space, which I was 11 years old then, and playing Dungeons and Dragons in the garage, and then wonder why there was such a moral panic then that is completely inverted a mere, 39 years later. It's strange, right? Or is it not? Am I missing something? And so the question becomes many questions. What's going on with this? Why is this a thing? And we'll get into more of these things, because not just Mattel and Hasbro going different directions, one of them sort of surging, one of them losing its ass. It's an interesting thing to think about digital, to think about dolls, to think about all of these spaces that are vying for our children's attention, and of course our attention as well. in 2026. So we're going to talk about that tonight. As usual, we will be taking your calls at 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. I'd love to hear from you. Lots of ideas in play. The way we do this is nonlinear, open-ended, and that's the point. We don't come and do this and try and, lecture or argue or anything. Let's open the book up of ideas and talk ideas. That's what's on my mind tonight. We'll be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up in approximately 1 minute. Don't go anywhere. This one is brought to you by the Stoic Minute. I think it's apt and appropriate for 2026 and beyond because, of course, you cannot control the things that you cannot control. Be right back in exactly 1 minute. We'll see you after a quick break from our sponsor.
Feeling stressed? Overwhelmed? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get swept away by our emotions. Take a breath and find your inner strength with the Stoic Minute.
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.
The ancient Stoic philosophers understood that we can't control everything in life, but we can control how we react.
The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts.
Focus on what you can influence. Cultivate a positive mindset, and let go of what you can't change. Find your inner strength. Live each day with courage, wisdom, justice, and moderation. Embrace the Stoic virtues and find peace within. The Stoic Minute, brought to you by Jack in Oregon.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? Okay, so that's the premise. Now, the interesting part to me, there's many interesting parts, but like I said, where the culture inverts, and it's not just for the children, but of course, we're putting ideas into soft heads. If you go back to, Yuri Bezmenov, I think he talked about this, what's it called? It'll come to me in a second, but it is a cultural subversion of sorts, a way to actually make this turn over an entire ideology in one generation. It was called, it'll come to me. It just came to mind as I was talking about this. It's not in the show notes. But anyway, okay. But you get the idea. If you put ideas into soft heads as children, they certainly flourish into ideas into adulthood and beyond. At least, even if people stop believing in witches and goblins and fairies and all the things, right, from when we're children, ghosts and ghouls and demons and all the things, well, what if they still, for some reason, impact those formative moments in different ways? Back to that old Dungeons and Dragons mother that threw away the D&D stuff because they were scared their child was going to open a portal to the 9 hells or something, right? So look, I don't know the answers to these questions, but I do find all of this fascinating where we started, at least, kind of my age group, the Generation X group, where we started and where we've come and what this looks like and how this is changing and how, once again, we're looking at a world where Moonspell Magic dolls are hitting the shelves in July, which again, trying to look at this from the synchromystic aspect, July, of course, is the 250-year anniversary of the United States of America. So if you're going to do a working, okay, and let's talk about ritual magic for just a second here, wouldn't it make sense that you'd kind of want to have it happen on a power day like that? I mean, they're going to drop the New York, they're going to drop the ball or the apple, like they do on New Year's. So they'll do it twice that year, once at New Year's Eve and then once at the 4th of July for the 250th anniversary of the country. You see what I mean? All of the ideas kind of focused on America. And then suddenly this kind of sneaks out, and they just announced this yesterday too. And so I'm a little befuddled in this, and I wonder if it's, sort of marketing in the sense that let's say, Mattel puts this idea out there now and they're shaping culture, or do you think that they're sort of a mirror reflecting what the culture is becoming? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I think it's probably complicated and it's probably maybe a little of both, but also it doesn't matter what I think. I want to hear from you. That's it. It's very simple. If you want to be part of the conversation, give us a call at 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this. Thanks for waiting, my man. Let's go to James in Michigan, Salcedo Paranormal. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Coming through fantastic. You sound great.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, or maybe not. Because, but yeah, great topic here. I didn't get a chance to read the write-up, but this is fascinating, the idea of whether the companies, believe or think any of this is real or not, the idea of cauldrons and spells and all that, it's still putting the ideas out there. And I really, I'm not sure if this is sort of overreacting or not, but it reminds me of sort of a new version of the Ouija board in a way, or a potential towards that direction, for people to maybe go down in their own minds and their own ways if they are, familiar with that at all. I don't know. It's kind of creepy to me in a way.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I'm not sure what to make of it, to be honest. And I did get a little bit of that in my mind when I was thinking of this. I'm like, yeah, are we getting older? And so we're like, get off my lawn type of stuff. I see it in the chat. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe let children be children, and that's that, right? It's a wrap. But also, we do have some responsibility when it comes to pumping these ideas into the zeitgeist if they are, again, long-term damaging. But I'm not sure. By the way, there have been big studies done on this. I mean, I think it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I was this old, so I liked the Backstreet Boys or whatever. That's just the way it was. Nothing against the Backstreet Boys, for instance, but I'm just saying there are consequences to kind of pushing these ideas into places where maybe they shouldn't be. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me because being the old guy now, and I am, promise you, that I look at it and I wonder how damaging or detrimental this stuff could be. But as a kid of the 80s to play D&D when I was 11 in the garage, I think I turned out okay. So you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you look at this and kind of see both ways of this, where people are concerned that bad ideas get into soft heads and then flourish into the next generation of ideas. But I don't know, man, like D&D has done me a lot of good in my life, at least able to look at the world in different ways and sort of rekindle a love of mythology and folklore that has brought me here today, talking about these ideas along with you.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking too, obviously, the other thing that makes you think of here is how the wellness and all that, it does nowadays, meditation is a sort of an accepted tool for medical, in some cases of medical situations where it's supposed to help people, sort of, I don't know, get better in different ways. And I'm not the doctor in any way, so I don't know how all that works, but I've heard of that mentioned in the doctor's office on the ads that they play on their TVs while you're sitting there waiting. I've heard that mentioned before as part of wellness of focusing on your thoughts and your energy and focusing on staying healthy and all that. And so that, in a way, it can almost be considered a spell of a kind that you're doing with yourself. And if these toys are being put out there that also have spells, again, spells are not inherently negative. It all depends on the person and the intent behind it. And so it could be a positive thing. It is just an odd thing that it's being put out there, and that openly, that without any kind of framing around it, where this is all just made up, or the toys are being put out there, the things are being put out there for people to use as they will.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's always been a thing. But then also, there's always this sort of and I think you could kind of even paint this in the political spectrum as well. There's like a taste for this, and then you get it, and you're like, no thanks. And there's then you get the other thing, and you hate that too. So I do wonder if culturally, this is something we kind of play ping pong with these ideas. And they seem attractive when they're forbidden, right? They seem attractive when this is taboo. But then suddenly when it's everywhere, then maybe it's like, well, don't you think we're maybe rotting the kids' brains kind of idea comes out culturally? And again, here's a good question too for the parents out there. I know many of us are old enough to be parents at this point. And so number one, would you buy these witch dolls for your children? That's the first question, okay? And what's your line between fantasy play and something more? Because, like I said, it opens up a lot of ways to think about these ideas and talk about them. And even as just a thought experiment, look at yourself, look inside and think about where you came from, and the ideas that we were sort of, that were available to us as children have changed quite a lot because of the fractal of the internet and everything else. But then here we are in 2026 asking if 1986 was even that good. I mean, I don't have to be home before dark or whatever, but there's a lot of things I like 1986 about too. But sorry to interrupt. Go ahead there, James.
No, that's fine. And I missed the part where it was going to be dolls as well as the cauldrons. I just missed that part. I was just thinking of the cauldrons and the spells. But, I mean, dolls are a whole other fascinating topic because in ancient times, way back when, dolls were not toys. They were not just toys. They were used to as vessels for energy and or consciousness, either of spirits or of deities in some cases. So that whole aspect of that, and I mean, dolls have been around for kids to play with for years too. So I'm not saying that all dolls are meant to be that, but I find that fascinating that it's a doll in a cauldron. So you're in effect, as a kid, you're able to have this other form doing these spells, so to speak. In your imagination, you're thinking this person, if they want to think of it as a person, the doll or whatever, is doing these spells. I'm not doing them. They are. And that gets into a whole fascinating idea to me of, well, who really is doing what there?
Yeah, the working is now passed off to somebody else. Maybe too, and that becomes really another layer to this. Is that it's kind of like we talked about probably 3 weeks back. The Ouija board, right? They were one of the top selling things in the late 70s, early 80s, and it was like a spirit board for real. And they're like, yeah, it's fine. Milton Bradley's selling the hell out of these things. And then suddenly that turned, and it was a whole episode kind of looking at in that perspective. But now we look at this with the sort of the turning of that idea of the Ouija board falling out of favor, let's say. But now, I mean, it's back full barrel with this, full double barrel with this Monster High type stuff and these dolls. And let me read you a little bit on the dolls so you have some context. I know you didn't get to read the thing, and this is some context for everybody else. But Mattel is launching a new Monster High spinoff line called the Moonspell Magic, featuring 5 witch-themed dolls from a world where monsters and witches live together. Debuting at Toy Fair New York in February and hitting retailers in July. And that's the part that caught me because, of course, July 4th is 250 years of this country. So I was like, if I was this conspiracy theorist, which I'm not, but if I was, I would consider, well, if you're going to release some kind of ritual magic into the zeitgeist, certainly July 4th of the 250th year of the New Rome, or New Babylon, as some would call it, maybe it makes some sense. Anyway, that's a little filling in some gaps there. But Mattel is going to deliver these, delve further into the supernatural with Moonspell Magic by Monster High doll line. There you go. Now a couple minutes left. What you got?
So again, we have what is supposed to be a fictional thing, as usual, drawing from all kinds of stuff from the past, thoughts and mythology and all that. Involving monsters, it's all fiction. But yeah, that's fascinating to me that they're doing this. It's based on a fictional thing, and so the intent will be, you would think it's fictional, and it may be, but also, as we know, the whole ideas of thought forms and tulpas and all that can fit in too. And just think of. I'm just thinking of all the accounts of kids having imaginary friends, and I'm sure in many cases they are imaginary. In other cases, there's other paranormal things that happen around those imaginary friends. So I'm just I don't know what I'm saying here, but that's where my mind is going with all that.
No, you're good. You're right on the game. It's no problem at all. James just actually jumped over from the Ricky stream. He's got Ricky. Anything is possible. Has got a second series called Beyond. What's it called? What's it called again?
Beyond the Possible.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Beyond the Possible. I didn't want to say Beyond the Strange. Shout out Dave Cruz. But no, Beyond the Possible. And James is on there just about every Sunday, and they're doing great work. And I wish I could watch more of it, but it's literally smack dab in the Troubled Minds prep time. But I'm sure they're having a blast over there. But giving James a breather here so he can kind of catch his breath after a couple hour marathon over there. So you're the best, James. Appreciate it. Chill. We'll get back to you momentarily. You're welcome to stay as if you've got more. And I appreciate you jumping in here after the marathon. If you need to kick back and take a drink, go do it. And we'll be back for you just a second, okay?
Yeah, no, happy to sit in.
Right on. You were the best. And I'm Michael Strange. This is Troubled Minds. I'm calling this Radical Subjectivity. After last episode, I was on about radical agnosticism. Let's talk about radical subjectivity in terms of a Satanic Panic inversion. Now, is this changing in the zeitgeist for some reason other than simple marketing? That's what's on my mind. Love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Be right back. More on the way. We got, looks like Parker on the phone line. We got the Robert with his hand up in Discord and your calls as well. Do not go anywhere. More Troubled Minds in just one moment.
Just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. I look for the invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, possible human immortality, and at the same time appalling acts of brutality, genocide, race baiting, homophobia, famine, starvation. The mushroom said to me once, it said, "This is what it's like when a species prepares to depart for the stars. You don't depart for the stars under calm and orderly conditions. It's a fire in a madhouse." And that's what we have, the fire in the madhouse at the end of time. This is what it's like when a species prepares to move on to the next dimension.
They burn the books, afraid of what their children took, from dragging dice and painted lead, the devil's voice inside their head. They saw the symbols, felt the fear, kept magic far from what was gear. But somewhere between then and now, the moral compass turned around. Now we're buying cauldrons at the store, spell it out. It's therapy, not war. Same ritual, different name. Moonspell Magic, self-care game. July 26th, the nation turns. 250 candles burn, and children learn to read the stars with crystal balls and moon charged jars. Can't see but reads the sky. Willow hears what trees reply. Karina bottles love as scent. Layla's...
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. Tonight, let's read the thing. Better to read the thing, Mike, than ramble on. In 1986, parents burned D&D manuals fearing they'd corrupt kids into witchcraft. In 2026, parents buy witch dolls with cauldrons and spellbooks as therapy tools. Same practices, opposite moral charge. In the end, the Satanic Panic didn't end, it inverted, and it's launching during America's 250th birthday. Now, what do you derive from that? And that becomes the wild part, because we started with this article and this actual release that just happened yesterday at this big toy fair, where Mattel is releasing this supernatural, delving into the supernatural with the Moonspell Magic series by the Monster High doll line. And again, I looked into Monster High a little bit, and it's as you'd expect it to be. I mean, like it's I don't know, like Cabbage Patch on occult steroids or something. It's really weird, but cool, right? I mean, this is the good stuff, and I'm not making fun in the sense that we didn't grow up with this stuff too. There was Buffy, right? There was Anne Rice way back. There's all kinds of stuff that we did. We grew up on a lot of these things, but it's interesting how with the internet it kind of does that fractal, as I like to describe it, and now it's everywhere. And it's good. I mean, I think it's good. I think ideas are good. But as usual, right, we're going to get the moral panickers that try and say that this is bad. And I'm not even saying it's good or it's bad. I'm saying, what do you think? That's what I'm saying. Because I have mixed feelings about it, as you can tell. But anyway, whatever. Monster High, it's got the little skull with the bow, the pink bow. Oh, it's so adorbs. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on this. Lots of ways to look at it. But again, radical subjectivity is Satanic Panic Inversion. Does it feel like that to you? Or does it feel like Mike's an old crank and get off my lawn? That would be okay too. Love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Hang tight, gentlemen. We're going to go to the phone line, make sure everybody can hear everybody. And then we'll get back to Discord. So we got more from James and the Robert coming as well. But let's go to, looks like Parker in the YouTube chat. What's going on, my man? You are on Troubled Minds. How are you tonight? And go right ahead.
Hey, Michael, it's Parker. It's good to be back. So,
glad to have you back.
What I want to talk about really quickly.
Sure.
Yes, awesome. What I want to talk about really quickly is, so your idea on inversion and magic and the zeitgeist and how all these powers that play with basically the social structure at large, but also, as you were bringing up, the Satanic Panic of the 80s, which in a lot of people could argue is itself a historic inversion of the earlier, witch panics prior that have happened twice before, not just the witch trials, but also earlier in American history as well. That this pattern of inversion, in a way, is tied to a lot of what these people in the kind of UFO community always go about frequency. They talk about Tesla, they talk about many different subjects, channelers talking to supposed entities, talking about frequency, yada, yada, yada. And I think it really relates more to this larger zeitgeistian social magic. What we'd call magic is not what they make us look at, which is this like individualistic, ceremonial, individual power gaining through demons, etc. That's what they always point to. But the reality is that the magic is more of a mind magic that involves a group of social behavior over frequency, over how many things happen over a period of time that cause consequence and reaction. This is also tied into how a lot of corporate movements have happened in the past, where you create a problem, you offer a solution, and then you become the savior of the problem itself. And then you can continuously invert this triad over time, opposite of what the natural frequency or patterns that happen in nature. And by doing that, you gain control of the pattern and you invert everything on top of itself. And it goes in and out and inverts the actual topics that you're talking about. And not to mention, with the files coming out, it's really tying together so many lines of origin for a lot of these things. And I'm glad I'm talking to a small group of people. I think there's only 15 people watching this, but you can go on many different channels on YouTube. There's some that are really, really good at summarizing some of this, I think, and we're getting pretty close to the truth of our own history, I think, in the next few years, which is kind of scary in a lot of ways. And it's tied to, like Mattel, like I was bringing up the files, people know what I mean. Mattel's really deep into a lot of the connections in there, and the CEOs and the people with power and money. And these ceremonies they do are extremely tied to the timing and frequency of things that happen in nature. But they're inversions. It's kind of like how people get obsessed with magic numbers in the Bible or different religious works, and then they never seem to get anywhere with it, but they associate and maybe roll off into schizophrenia. Well, it's because the numbers themselves are inverted from their original meaning on how they line up naturally. And when you remove all the mud, it's just what is. There is no magic. There is no separation. It's just technology is a form of magic. Mind is a form of magic. It's just power. So that's just something, an idea I wanted to bring out, that maybe this entire inversion itself is the classic thing they've been doing in UFOlogy for 80 years. Muddy the waters, muddy the waters, muddy the waters, invert the language, simplify it, make sure you focus on one word and don't realize it could mean 3 different things. And then it makes it really hard to get anywhere. It's a really easy tactic. So yeah, that's little spiel.
No, well said. And I think it's interesting too, because with us, this group, we do try and get these ideas and put them together and untangle them and find out what's really happening. And as you described, it's not meant to be figured out. And look, I'm under no illusion that we'll figure out the mysteries of the universe or something. These conversations are great and fascinating and all that. But beyond that, I think we're supposed to be confused about a great many things, because even, hard numbers and data and spreadsheets, all that's even obfuscated because it's twisted and, misrepresented and all the things. So what you're describing is, we've talked about this, of course, a lot in the past, the controlled opposition aspect of everything. You're kind of playing ping pong in the cultural zeitgeist. And when one side just gets too much, then you're like, all right, we'll just pivot to our friends on the other side. And then, let the sentiments wear off of the hatred of whatever it was. And then this new thing will sort of adopt that hatred of the sentiment. And then we can be the heroes again by inverting. Makes a ton of sense to me. And absolutely, and that's called the Hegelian dialectic, if I'm right. Is that correct?
Yes, actually. I think you must be watching. Are you familiar with, I think his name is Simon on YouTube? I need to look up. It's like Abraham Simon or Hillman. But he's big on the Hegelian dialectic and the whole use of duality and inversions to basically trick the mind into misusing its own language and how it relates to real world objects and things and feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we did a show on that years and years and years ago. So, I mean, it's not a new concept to me. It's just, kind of when I hit something, we move on to the next thing. So, and certainly, this is an idea that we need to keep on top of our mind because it's being used against us. Absolutely, 100%. How do you feel? Are you a parent? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to say yes or no, but maybe.
No, but I have taught students and children for a while. So I've been around a lot of kids, but I don't have any of my own.
Okay. Thank you for answering. You didn't have to. So do you think it is a problem with this sort of this inversionism of that old idea of burning D&D books, and now suddenly we're like, here's Luna the Moon Witch for Christmas? You think that strikes children in a bizarre way? Or do you think it's just, like I said, old man Strange shaking his cane, get off my lawn?
Well, I mean, I'm very progressive as a person. Like my personal philosophy is all about personal autonomy to the self and also harm to, the world at large. So, anything that doesn't hurt others and also doesn't hurt yourself is okay. I add that little extra to it. Like we should be responsible to each other for our own happiness as well. That's how you create a good society. If you just let anyone roll off in any one extreme, then you're stuck. This is why I really liked how you were phrasing at the beginning of your show, this kind of center, because it's kind of like, again, I brought this up last time I talked, how words fail and how the common thread throughout a lot of this, even the weird satanic worship and stuff that we're learning about in the files, that it seems that is still going on today amongst the powerful. And for all we know, has been going on since the Khazarian Mafia 2,000 years ago. Who knows if that's real or not? It's tied to the whole Elohim ideal in 12,000 years ago and us being messed with, yada, yada. Who knows if that's real? That's also part of the Planet of Nine, Planet of Choice book that we talked about with Schlemmer. There's so many books. They all tie the same ideas together, but it's hard to say which one originates from each other, or are they just copying from each other? Is it actually an original idea, etc.? But this inversion, this center, the idea of the cross is kind of like a way to think. It's how to stop allowing your brain to just simply think left to right, but thinking of more of a spectrum of color from a center, and then up and down, black and white, a frequency or amplitude of action. No longer good and evil, no longer power and weak. It's more spectrum of action between amplitude and frequency. So, I mean, this is what I think Tesla was really trying to get at when he was talking to people, but he couldn't because it's a social idea, not a scientific one. And he himself even talked about how his own visions and his own crippling self-doubt and all these things was a failure of language, his inability to communicate with people. It really is most of our problems today, is our failure to communicate with each other properly. Even me working with my own YouTube channel, I think I've re-recorded it like 5 times in 5 different ways. Go crazy, be entertaining, be really deadpan, be serious, etc., etc. No amount of editing can, fix the cardinal sin of being boring, but we live in a society where attention is so important. Yeah, so it's difficult,
Well said. Which was my demon, by the way. My main demon was communication. I couldn't effectively communicate my thoughts to my mouth in an effective manner enough to seem like I wasn't a weirdo human. And so I took on the challenge to be here, and now I am a weirdo human for sure, but certainly my thoughts can hit my mouth faster than many people, and that's a good thing. The storytelling archetype is the storyteller itself is a good thing, and so welcome to it, man. I mean, glad to have you here, and I do have your link for your YouTube channel. I followed you over there, and if I didn't put you up on the website, I think I may have. I think I may not have. I will put you up very soon. Tell everybody what that is real quick, and I appreciate you calling in tonight. You're the best.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. And I appreciate everyone listening in as well. I hear there's a lot of Texas people in the audience, so howdy, y'all. The channel is Experiencer Portal. I don't have my first video up yet. I just have a little 40-second blurb. If you want to subscribe, I appreciate it. The first video is just going to be about my personal experiences. I'm going to try my best to make it entertaining, but it's interesting stuff, and it's a beginning. I think the last thing I'll say before I go so other people can get on the line is that I think our last choice, regardless of what's going to happen, is that we need to try to speak our realities out to the world, whatever that is, and not let anyone else tell us otherwise. Say our truths, which is this happened to me, this is how it happened, this is how I saw it, this is how I felt it. Now, can we just talk about it? And then, honestly, I think that will change the world faster than us just trying to vote for the same people over and over again, or repeating the same patterns over and over again. If we're becoming more educated through history, more educated about the things going on around us. And I think it's a good sign. We should have hope right now that the files are coming out, because it means they're out of options. It means change is coming no matter what. We just need to be patient. That's where I'm at. And I hope everybody has, a great time, and we all get out of this happy.
Amen. Amen.
So, love you all. Have a good one.
Well said. You're the best. Parker, go give him a follow. Link's going to be in the description down below, troubledminds.org/friends. It says follow Parker here. I think I added him. I think I didn't. I don't know. I've got the information. If I didn't, I'm swimming in code this weekend. So I'll get his links up there tomorrow. But the Experiencer Portal on YouTube, go give him a follow. Exciting stuff coming. You can tell he's a very smart guy. He's an old friend of ours. He's been here for a long time. He used to call in back in the day too, under a different name. But Parker, welcome. I appreciate you calling, and thanks for sharing your ideas. And the Hegelian dialectic, bringing that sort of back to the top of mind here for this conversation, because I think it is important. This type of stuff is, how do you break that down and turn it into a cultural zeitgeist over decades? I mean, that's some level of architecture there, unless, of course, humans are just easily swayed. So I don't know. Great stuff. Anything to add to that, James? And then we'll go to the Robert, who's had his hand up a minute. Thanks for being patient, friends.
Yeah, I agree. Great call from Parker. I agree that language, and I talk about this all the time with everything I do too. Language, words are amazing. We do need them, but we should always keep in mind that they're not perfect. And so, yeah, great call.
Absolutely. Thank you, James. Again, talking radical subjectivity tonight. I'm calling this a satanic panic inversion, if I can read my own text there. But I don't know. Look, a lot of ways to look at this, and that's the whole point of this. What do you think? Would you buy these dolls for your children today? Have you in the past? Did you have a Ouija board when you were a kid? And we're talking about these Monster High dolls and, the Moonspell Magic and some other stuff. I'll tell you more about that as we go. But instead, we have smart friends in the meantime, which is way better. This is the whole point, is to talk to each other. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Let's go to Robert in Pennsylvania. What's up, the Robert? How are you tonight? You're on Troubled Minds.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. I cannot complain. I stumbled on this one and was like, that's it. We're going to talk about witches and dolls tonight. Let's have it. What do you got?
I tune in and have one of the most insightful experiences that I ever had tuning into Troubled Minds. I took you to be 38 years old and was just astounded that you're 50.
Stop it. Thank you. That's very nice. But stop it. I'm actually 50.
I'm not being nice. I actually didn't took you for a much younger man. Anyway, beyond that, you have. I don't want. If I get a little personal, are you a parent?
I'm not. No.
Okay. Well, that explains a lot. Because I have been for a long, long time.
Okay.
And these dolls, my daughter's been collecting these Monster High dolls since she was a little girl. And she still collects them. And she's 42. All right. And as far as looking at these dolls, I think they're kind of cute. She probably will wind up putting that on her Christmas list next year. for me to get for her.
So you're saying you've bought these things in the past?
Oh my goodness, yes. And she's a bright and wonderful person. Here's the thing. We used to, witches were years ago. The idea of witches were old crones, and we've kind of made them nice, pretty, and that sort of stuff with these dolls. But here's the thing: does those dolls come with the spells to call demons?
They do, right? But that's what these articles are saying. So I don't have one. I've never bought one, but they actually do. Is what you're telling me?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, I see.
Do these dolls? I mean, it's one thing to get a little benign thing for pamphlet for spells. All right, it's a whole nother thing. Is if it's really dark and pamphlet of how to call demons and how to do harm. And I have no idea what this pamphlet or book or whatever of spells is what's in it. But my looking at the dolls, I have to say they're benign spell books.
Let's hope so. I don't know. I really don't know. But wouldn't it be the twist of the century to have like a slip in a little this conjuring spell for Beelzebub or something? Of course, I'm just being ridiculous, but you get my meaning. I'm with you. I think if that happened and somebody spotted that, it would be the end of the world in terms of people losing their minds. So I don't think that's the case, but I'm just saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
Let's look at witches. Wizard of Oz. There was the mean witch, the bad witch, and there was the good witch. All right, the mean witch was ugly, and the good witch was beautiful. We have Hocus Pocus, where the three witches were kind of in the middle, and they like to eat kids. All right, that's one of my daughter's favorite movies. But to this day, she's 42. I don't think for one second that she's ever decided to sit down and cook a baby or cook a kid. Right? These things.
I'm not suggesting such.
Go ahead. And then we had Bewitched when I was a kid, and my daughter had Sabrina the Teenage Witch on TV. I mean, then you have Barbie and Ken, which are more detrimental to young girls than these little, cute little witches that Mattel's putting out. I think Barbie and Ken were worse. I had G.I. Joe.
Yeah, so did I.
All right, and I didn't want to go out and kill a lot of people, in war. It was just fun play, just like your Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep,
it was fun play. And your parents may have been concerned, but they had really nothing to be concerned about. It turned out you turned out all right, even though you seem to age better than other people.
Hey, thanks. It's all the babies I eat. I'm just kidding. Everybody relax. That's a terrible joke. It's a terrible joke.
Okay. And then there's Harry Potter.
Making Robert joke over there.
It's Harry Potter. I mean, all the kids got into Harry Potter, and there's certainly witches and spells and stuff there. And I haven't seen any kids being so drawn to it that they get a broom and try to jump off the roof with it. I mean, we used to burn witches.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
And
good.
Go ahead.
No, just exactly, and that's my point. So I'm not again suggesting some level of nefarious activity here to try and turn kids into mass murderers. All right, my point is that the and you know this, that you're making it sort of a counterpoint. But all I'm saying is that we certainly have the zeitgeist changing over the last 50 years in many different ways, and I've recognized it. And so I find it fascinating that we have the flip flop of these ideas. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not suggesting anybody that buys these dolls are horrific or terrible or whatever. Or I mean, we did a Taylor Swift show. You know, I'm not suggesting anybody that listens to Taylor Swift is a witch or whatever. It's just interesting how the zeitgeist kind of handles.
They all probably are.
Well, I mean, okay, all right. Now you said it. I didn't say that, but go ahead.
They all probably are.
You said it, not me.
Here's what concerns me. Right, my daughter's 42. Right, you know, I know deep down, all right, she can't escape her Catholicism, but at the same time, she thinks that the world is run by a goddess. Right. At least that's what she says sometimes, and I just wave it off. It's harmless, all right? But what really is bothering me these days is that there seems to be a constant message being put across that nothing is real, all right? How often have I listened to podcasters or on TV, people... And you have that we're living in a matrix. All right. The problem I have with that is maybe we are. I don't know. All right. But what we're teaching our kids, and that would be I would say the generation 30 down, is that nothing is real. Don't believe in anything. Nothing is real. And so it causes them to get a little bit in the head. I mean, if you can't count on the sidewalk you're walking on being real, that also changes people's morality, in my opinion. Because if nothing's real, there's no evil. There's nothing bad we could do. Even if we do something bad, it's not real. And I'm worried about that.
Now, you sound like the get off my lawn guy. You crank. No, but I agree with you. And so because of course the moralism of the old religious ideal was you're either, with the moral regime or you're not. But of course in 2026 we recognize it's quite a bit more complicated than that. And so I agree with you. I think fractal ideas are a way for us to lose that human identity, and that's why I'm here. It's why I'm talking about these things and why I think it's important.
And frankly, you said it better than I could. I was trying to find the words for what's been bothering me, and I'm really having some problems with that, but you seem to sum it up pretty good.
Thank you. I've had a lot of practice with a lot of smart friends.
Yes, you have. Yes.
Appreciate that.
So that's about all I've got there. Let's not worry about the dolls, right? Let's not worry about G.I. Joe or Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. There, kids enjoy them, and they grow up and they become Michael Strange.
Let's hope so. I mean, let's hope not. Let's hope you become way more successful than Michael Strange. But in any case, I get your point, and you're right. You turned out okay with G.I. Joe. I turned out okay with Dungeons and Dragons, and I do want to caveat that nobody actually died in G.I. Joe. So that's why you didn't turn into a mass murderer.
Also, in Dungeons and Dragons, like you said earlier, with the Dungeons and Dragons, it's why you're where you're at now. All right.
Yeah.
You have a very, very, solid knowledge of mythologies and things like that are interesting to listen to.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Right. That game taught you a great deal about those things, and you carry it over to your program, and I congratulate you. So not all kids' toys are just brain, what am I saying?
Brain rot.
Brain melting. All right.
I got you.
Brain rot. There you go.
I got
brain rot.
You're the best.
Oh, you're getting close to a commercial, and I'm going to get off and let somebody else.
You guys are radio pros. Appreciate you, the Robert. Have a fantastic night. Thank you for the call. You know him, you love him, the Robert. Give him a follow, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It's alphabetical, but it's under the Robert because that's his writer name. He's a mentor to me and to us all. Check out his book, Stories from a Fractured Mind, the Robert Collection. Link is there. It's on Amazon. You can buy it tonight, get it tomorrow. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. We got James, we got Mattel, and your calls as well. What do you know about an inversion of the Satanic Panic? Are we stuck in this Hegelian dialectic, shout out Parker, or is it something different? Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere.
You're tuning into Troubled Minds, the show where mystery knows no bounds. Stay tuned for revelations that'll keep you questioning the fabric of reality.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We're also broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, I'm calling this radical subjectivity, a satanic panic inversion. Now, we started with the idea of these Moonspell, what are these? Moonspell Magic dolls by Monster High. Look, I don't know what this is. But the thing that caught my attention was that they're releasing these. They just announced them yesterday at this big toy conference. But they're releasing these in July, which, again, the Synchro Mystic goes, whoa, what? July is, of course, the 250-year anniversary. Witchcraft released on Valentine's Day, releasing these dolls in July. You know what I mean? And I'm not suggesting anybody who buys these dolls as a witch. You know, we had a good conversation about that with Roberts. But I'm just saying that, there's some things that happen that make your eyebrows raise when these types of things are announced, and you notice some patterns. So that's all I'm saying. So look, I agree too with Robert. I don't think that this type of thing, one thing in particular, can corrupt somebody like that, right? There's a whole manner of things that happen in society, parents or lack of parents or et cetera, so on. The friends you hang out with, all kinds of stuff that influence the hell out of you. And, make you a better or a worse person. Not that it completely consumes you, but there are instances where that does happen. So I'm just saying that, I don't know, is this a ritual magic aspect? I guess we can kind of toss into the larger conversation because it feels that way to me because, I don't know, maybe because I'm ignorant. How about that? That's that plays because the Robert's like, do you have any kids? No. Well, that's why, because if you did, you would have been buying these dolls for the last 20 years. That's why. So anyway, you guys are the best. Thanks for being patient with me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's go back to James real quick. You got anything on this, James? I know you had to reboot. It is Discord has been a little warbly, not just for you, Robert. It may be on my end. So who knows? So thanks for rebooting. I don't know if you're there or not. If you got something, go right ahead. Otherwise, we're going to go to Mattel. What's up, brother? Welcome back.
Yeah, no, I'm here. And I great call from Robert. I do agree as well. It's always one of the things that's bugged me about the whole video games are all evil. They're going to make everyone evil, and I've been playing games my whole life, and I'm not evil, and as far as I know, anyway. But no, and so I'm just curious about the timing of that, and then I am curious about what spells are included, and going to what he was talking about there, he asked if the spells included were to summon demons. I doubt that, but I'm also curious if these spells include the names of any fictional characters within that world, within that fictional world. Just because, again, going back to the idea of thought forms, all this energy from who knows how many people over possibly years, decades, however long kids play with, that particular those spell books or whatever. In spell books is kind of, I'm sure it's just a little pamphlet thing or whatever, like Robert was saying. But anyway, that would be my one question about that and possible negative thing, although I don't think it'll happen in that way either, really, to be honest.
Yeah, well said. And once again, that's why we throw these ideas out there and see what happens as part of it. I don't know the answers either. Let's talk about how they kind of impact us. They've impacted our family, and what you kind of see outside of that circle, that aspect of life itself. I think it's important. It's important to recognize the things that maybe don't directly impact us, but then also be able to recognize that sometimes they may be more important than the things that did, or of course quite a bit less. You see what I mean? As usual, wishy-washy, fence-sitting Michael Strange on the prowl. If you want to be part of the conversation, love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Real quick on the phone line, if you got a stream up, please pull the stream up. We got Mattel coming on Discord. You may not be able to hear them on the phone line. That's my fault entirely. I'm working on fixing that. Sorry. You are next though. Hang tight and we'll get to you. Mattel in California. Thanks for being patient, my man. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you? Go right ahead. Hello. Or no? Test 1 2 Mattel. Maybe a Discord issue again. If you want to call back on the phone line, we can do that. You tell me. I know you know how to do that. Okay, he dipped, so we'll get back to him momentarily. Yeah, let's see if he gets right back in here. Sometimes, and again, just a reminder, guys, if you're going to use Discord to call into the show, you got to update it before the show, because if you're on an older version, it's not going to work. It's broken everything for years, and it took me forever to figure it out. But now that I do, I can just tell you as a PSA from time to time that this is the way this works. You got to update the Discord. And I don't know that that's the case, by the way. It's just a nice time for a friendly reminder. But okay, so let me read some more of this from while Matt's calling. So let me read a little bit of this while he's getting in on the phone line. So this line of dolls focuses on themes of friendship, self-love, and embracing your own magic. It was developed with inclusive design input from groups such as the American Foundation for the Blind and Hearing Milestones. And here's why. Each doll has a distinct witch identity, style, and magical specialty. Karina Song, Willow Thorne, Claire DeLuna, who's a blind clairvoyant witch, Layla Stone, who's one of these is a deaf witch, and it's an interesting thing because they're kind of leaning into the idea, and we've talked about this in the past quite a lot, and with James too, we've talked about the idea that if you lose a particular sense or one is quite a bit weaker than the rest, then the rest have a way of sort of growing as a result, right? Counterbalancing that. And it's not always, but of course it is one of those things that we've talked about. But it's interesting that they put that in the space of these little witch dolls to kind of be inclusive in that regard. And look, everything doesn't have to be political. There are particular places where this is good. This is good stuff for people out there that need it. And there are people that need it. There are people that need a helping hand. And so, not to be political and stupid about things, which is the way they want us to be. It's like, hey, I thought it was kind of a nice sentiment and a nice notion when I was reading this idea. But also, it's witchcraft being released on, witch dolls being released around the 4th of July of the 250 year. Yeah. Anyway, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Sorry for the mix up there. Let's go to Matt's out in California. Thanks for calling back and be patient. Here on Troubled Minds, brother. Go ahead.
Hey, Mike. Good show.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about that. I called. I want to talk about how come it's so easy now to get this information and it's like right in our faces. Because the word occult means hidden. It means secret knowledge. And so it's funny how it went from that to being right in front of our faces in these dolls that you could buy from Target as a kid. And I just remember, back in the day, I remember before the internet when you could buy a book, like going looking for this stuff. It was hidden. You had to know somebody, or you had to go into a bookstore and ask, do you have the metaphysical section? No one knew what that was. Oh, meditation books, those types of books. And they would take you down this room, in the corner, in this dark room, and those books were in the bottom. But nowadays, those books, they're right in front of our face. They're right out in front of our faces. I remember a few years back, I went to this bookstore, and they had this. Right when you walk in, they had these tarot cards on this table, and it was funny. Me and my wife were looking at these tarot cards, and this random lady came up, and she started like to sweep the table. She knocked all the tarot cards off the table, and she started stacking Bibles on top of it. but just showing you that these books are like right in front of our faces. I'm wondering what's going on with those dolls. I don't think it should be right in front of the faces of everybody, in front of kids and everything, because this is a religion. This is something that is very serious, and you kind of got to take it seriously, and I want to teach, and that's why I kind of want to like talk about this kind of stuff and teach about it, because if you don't know what you're messing with, it can be dangerous. You follow me?
Yeah, 100%. And we've talked about this quite a lot, you and I, in the past. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you consider yourself as a Wiccan anyway, as sort of a religious aspect, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the point. And I agree that any idea taken to an extreme can be detrimental. Okay. And that's why it's important for us to kind of bring these ideas back to the center, not politically, to the center of the zeitgeist, and kind of consider them outside of the escape velocity of both, or the fractal escape velocity of all the ideas, and sort of come back to just what we know, where we came from, where we think we're headed, and discuss it in this space. That's the point. And so I agree with you that, some things can be good, and the exact same thing could also be bad. It's all perspective. It's all sort of again, a zeitgeist pressure. It's your friend groups, as I said, parents or not parents, or circumstances of life. These things can be bad, very bad, or also very good. And so, yeah, I'm with you. It's an important aspect to recognize there are two sides to every coin, as we like to say. And then also, in this capacity, maybe have some disclaimers or some information to find some good information on this if people are more interested, instead of finding some random TikTok video. Look, no offense to TikTok videos, but you know what I mean. That maybe tell you how to summon Beelzebub, as we said earlier.
Yeah, I feel it's important to do research on all this stuff from all levels, because you don't want to just jump into something like this. And like you're saying, doing the research and learning about it for years and years, and also experience and practice as well. But it reminds me of a show I watched called The Magicians, and it's a series, and it's about these kids that get invited to this magic school. It's kind of like a Hogwarts, that's a magic school. And the school is seeking out people that are looking, that might potentially have magic. And so they're recruiting them to teach them the right ways, to teach them, the science and the history and the way about it, before just willy-nilly doing magic. And so, but the problem is that these kids come to the school, and certain people pass the test, certain people don't. And so imagine being a person that you find out there's a school for magic, and you might be a magician, but you get kicked out, or you don't pass the test, and you get sent back to the real world, knowing that you have magic, but there's not a school that would teach you. And so these people, they become what they call the head witches. And the head witches are witches that are kind of they're like the witches that are doing magic behind the scenes. Like they're learning from the internet. They're learning they're amateur magicians. They're learning amateur spells and learning hand-me-down spells from the school, not the real spells. You follow me? I'm talking about like a gatekeeping kind of thing, where the people that run the schools, they have the real spells, but the amateur witches here, looking on the internet, we're getting the hand-me-down spells, or maybe there's a component off here or there to throw us off and not get the real spell. And so they become the head witches are like amateur magicians, and a lot of their magic ends up, going bad.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's kind of my.
Yeah, kind of like a teacher, right? And no offense, teachers are doing God's work, but for instance, right, like if you're teaching philosophy, then you're not a philosopher. You know what I mean? So that the head witch or the spellmasters are kind of neophyte spellcasters, and so they're teaching you kind of the basics. But if they were a master witch, they wouldn't be teaching people at all, would they? They'd be out doing master witch stuff. Is kind of my point.
Yeah, it just makes me feel like I said, I just don't understand how it's going to work. A lot of people are going to be finding out about this stuff for the first time as kids. And I think we just have to be careful. I think that the information needs to be, not gatekeeped, but like taught as more taught instead of teaching first and then learning and then doing the magic instead of just doing willy-nilly, just casting spells and not knowing what you're doing. Sorry, that's out there, but follow me. Thank you, Mike.
No, you're the best. I appreciate the call, and I agree. These are things that can be, as we've talked about, a mind virus. Like this can consume you. This type of idea, and so it's important to balance it, and then talk to people about these things. That don't go into reclusion with these ideas, and then let sort of the dark night of your own soul take you to the ends, which are just the bad ends. And so I agree. It's important to keep these ideas in the light. Is my point, and I know you agree, and you're spot on. And fire as always, you're the best, brother.
All right, thanks, Mike. Good night.
Appreciate the call. We love them. That's Matthew in California. Good friend for a long time. Temple of the Owl is the name of his podcast. Go check it out. Again, so he's not only a Wiccan, he looks at the world differently, which is good, which is what most of us here do. That's the whole point. But also he's got a massive esoteric book collection that he's synthesizing and putting into a podcast called Temple of the Owl. Check it out. TempleoftheOwl.com. Every time I listen to it, I'm impressed. He's got a wealth of knowledge, and he's bringing that to the podcast world. And he's also on the Troubled Minds Radio Network as well, along with James and all the rest of these fine folks. Herschel, shout out. Ricky, lots of great people that are part of this. And so thank you again for being included and caring and understanding the ideas enough to at least entertain the nonsense that goes on in my head, but not Matthew. He's got fantastic stuff coming out of his head. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Let's go to, I'm not sure who this is. You're on Troubled Minds. What's your first name? Where are you calling from? Test phone line. You're on Troubled Minds.
Hi,
yeah, you're on. You're there. What's going on? What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Dave. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
What's up, Dave? Welcome to the thing.
I just got your information from James, as a matter of fact, on Ricky's show. I guess I have a couple of questions, because right now y'all are just talking way above my intellectual level. I apologize for it. So is the issue here that we believe that these toys are being released on the 250th anniversary, or is the toys promoting witchcraft or Satanism?
All of the above. So, okay, so I can tighten that thread for you entirely in like 12 seconds. So those dolls harken back to the 80s with that Satanic Panic idea of giving children sort of occult toys, which is scary to parents, at least back then, that are being released around in the ritual magic sense, the 250th anniversary of America. So yeah, it all comes together like you described. So yeah, exactly right. Does all that make sense, or does it not, is really the question. That's what we're talking about. You're spot on.
No, it does make sense. But I go back to, so we talk about Dungeons and Dragons, but there was also the big brouhaha about listening to Led Zeppelin records backwards to get satanic messages.
True.
Remember that?
I sure do, yep.
So throughout history, there's been these announcements and these discoveries, we'll say, right? Now, Dungeons and Dragons probably got a lot of media coverage because parents were all against it. The music got a whole lot of media play because people were concerned that their children were going to be getting demonic messages, and next thing you know, it's on 60 Minutes and everything else, and it's a big media event. In a way, I see this as brilliant marketing. The 250th anniversary of America is going to be the biggest event of 2026, right? So just like you release something on Super Bowl Sunday, which is the most watched program, and most people watch it to see the commercials. Well, if you want to get a lot of media and a lot of hype on something that I've never heard of, and I don't even know how long it's been around or how long it's been high end, low end, whatever the case may be in popularity, well, now you said you're going to release it along with the 250th anniversary. Would we be discussing this if they released it in October before Halloween or before the holidays?
Absolutely. More. Absolutely. Here's why. And this is the way my brain works. I would be wondering why they skipped the 4th of July and missed that opportunity. And I think of it in terms of, let's think of ritual magic like a charge in the zeitgeist. Interest. Let's say an interest base of millions or billions of people. That's what I mean. So depending on whether you believe magic is real or not, there's certainly an interest based in these things. And that's what I'm saying. So if you skipped it and went to October, then you're sort of tapping into more of the Samhain or the Halloween, zeitgeist interest. You see what I'm saying? So I would talk about it just the same, because it would be interesting why they did skip, as I'm describing, the biggest power day of 2026, as you described, and I think we both agree. The 4th of July, 2026 is the 250th year anniversary of the United States. And it's probably the biggest power day of the year. So yeah, we agree. And so you see what I'm saying. So I would be talking about it in that regard, just because that's the way my mind works. I'm not making a direct case. I'm making an indirect case of, is there something to this or is there not?
Correct. But I guess we've been talking about good witches, bad witches, right? And I always thought that most witches are not bad, that it's not black magic per se, or Satanism. It's different. I don't know enough about it to say whether or not that's true, but that's my understanding, is that most witches aren't black magic and satanic. It's something totally different, almost like a religion, like that Wiccan who says it's a religious thing.
Yeah, like that's what Mattel was saying, the previous caller there. He was making exactly that case, that it doesn't have to be that. It's a marketing aspect. And, we were hanging witches back at the Salem witch trials, and beyond that, too. It goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, probably beyond that as well, thousands of years. So, I mean, there is a space here for that. And you're right. In the sense of magic itself, there's going to be sympathetic magic. There's going to be, dark magic and chaos magic, but there's also going to be magic that comes from good intention and goodwill. If you believe in ritual magic, you don't have to, but you get what I'm saying, is that are these corrupting influences on malleable heads or children? That's the question. And I don't have any kids, so I don't really have a dog in that fight. It's just a curious questioning of the zeitgeist and the people in it, which is you and me and everybody else. That's where my mind's at. And as I like to call myself, if you're new, I call myself a radical agnostic. Like I don't believe in anything, because everything they tell me seems to be tainted in some way or another. So I just want to take all the information in and make up my own mind and talk to my smart friends about it, like you. Welcome to the joint. What else you got?
Right. Actually, that is true. When you look at how do you influence a society, and we can look at what the Nazis did. We can even look at the fall of Vietnam. Let's say they openly admitted that after Vietnam fell, they basically disowned all the adults over a certain age, because they knew they could never convince them to be in line with communism and the North's philosophy. But younger minds can be taught at a very young age, and their minds are going to believe it more because they don't have any experience to question what's being told to them. And it's being told to them by an authoritarian figure, where this isn't really that, but it is young minds seeing this as acceptable, and they just accept it. Even if their parents say no, and probably if their parents say no, then they're going to accept it even more and want it even more because mommy and daddy said no. So yeah, young minds are the easiest minds to influence and get them to believe in your point of view.
By that sort of that counter aspect of it, by sort of buying the other side into the zeitgeist, and they see it, then they hate it. I mean, it is a cultural thing where, at least in the West, I don't know about the rest of the world, maybe more or less so, but where you kind of reject the ideas of your parents because, right? Like I have my own mind, right? Naturally, not that our parents traditionally were wrong about things, but that they're not you and you're your own entity. And so I think there's a natural inclination for the youth to be able to do that. And for let's say people that are manipulative, they spot it. And as you very astutely pointed out, are able to manipulate children in such a way. Absolutely right. We agree.
Great. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you.
You're the best. One more time. What's your first name again? And from Texas?
I'm Dave.
Dave from Texas.
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's where you said Texas.
Yeah, I'm a friend of Ricky's.
Oh, Dave. Are you the Dave from the podcast there? No.
Yes.
Oh, well, crap.
I'm Uncle Dave.
No.
Okay, Uncle Dave.
Yeah, I was just. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
He's not the one that comes on Wednesdays.
Hey, James.
I see. Okay. Uncle Dave. Okay. Uncle Dave, welcome to the thing. You are a friend. You are welcome back anytime. I appreciate your input here and amazing stuff. Appreciate you. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care. Yeah. Great points all. And that's exactly it, right? Like, look, we're lucky. You're good, James. He heard you. It's just you had the echo back at you. We're good. So he had the right idea, and that's the point. And look, so it tells me that I'm not weird enough that, new people don't get it. So that's good. That's a good thing. And that's exactly what I love about this is sometimes it's very complicated, but sometimes it's more or less sort of ambiguous enough where it doesn't have to be complicated at all because you pick and choose what you want to talk about. And here we are. Welcome to Troubled Minds. That's exactly the point. But we are so blessed with smart friends and added Dave to the mix, Uncle Dave, and appreciate that very much. Look, I don't know. No answers for me. You know the deal. I don't come preaching answers. Like it's, if it seems like it's to make a point and then to back off the point and see if it's right or it's wrong and talk about it together. Okay. I'm not a staunch anything. I'm me. I'm a radical me. How about that? I don't know. What do you think? Is it possible that witchcraft is still in play in 2026 and that the release of a new batch of witch dolls put around the power day of the last 250 years, basically, the 250th anniversary of America plays in the witchcraft space? I don't know. Real or not? Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Tonight, we're taking your calls in 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're taking your calls as we talk. Look, we're talking the Satanic Panic. Again, inverted. Otherwise, 1986, 2026. What the hell's going on here? Including, of course, the idea of, there's a word, not the bicentennial, the bi something or other centennial. The word was way too big for me. I'm like, I'm not saying that damn word. I'm not doing that. But anyway, the 250-year anniversary of the United States is coming up on the 4th of July, of course. And right around the time these dolls release, these witchcraft dolls, okay? And I'm calling them that sort of halfway tongue in cheek, but they kind of are, right? And this was released again at a toy conference today or yesterday, and they're talking about these Monster High dolls that are going to be released in a new series around July, which everybody knows what happens in July, which is, of course, the 4th of July in 250 years, the Power Day. Okay, that's it. Look, I don't know. That's the case I'm making from A to B to C to D, and I'm saying, does it make any sense? Or does it not? And do you think ritual magic exists in 2026? And even if, let's say, you don't believe in magic itself, let's say that you actually believe that you can manipulate the zeitgeist in such a way that people do your bidding. Yeah. Whether that's witchcraft or not. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Let's go to Jacob, Harsher Boy. What's up, my man? You're on Troubled Minds. Just accept the thing, pop on up and unmute, and go right ahead. Welcome to the joint. Welcome back. Glad to see you. Glad to have you. And you have way too many handles for me to keep up, but way too handsome to keep down. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. Unmute and go right ahead. Hello, test.
All right, yeah. Hello. What's happening?
I got you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. You're on Troubled Minds. What do you know about this, man? I figured this would be right down your alley, and here we are. Go right ahead.
I mean, I feel like the magic's gone. It's a very thin veil thing, the way everything is being taken over, like the AI stuff and just technology. It's ruining everything. It's killing the romance. It's killing the novelty. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. It's just killing something like that. So I don't know. I wish I had more optimism, but it's just. I don't know. It's really hard to feel good about most things these days. Yeah.
No,
How do you not be numb? Yeah.
No. Look, I agree with you, but this is why we talk to each other. Because let me back you off that cliff, because there's a ton of reasons. There's a ton of reasons, because you have the choice to just shut it all down and go put your toes in the ocean, right? Literally toes in the ocean. I say that as a metaphor when I'm talking about the things we do know versus the things we don't know. But there's a real ocean out there, and you can go put your toes in it. Duncan Trussell famously said something to the degree of some poor bastard is sitting out there by a waterfall without a phone, not recognizing how miserable he's supposed to be. And Jacob dropped. But I mean, you get my point, right? Like I'll tell that to him again as we get him back in here. We're having Discord issues tonight. I don't know what's going on, but I'll say that again when he gets back up. But yeah, I mean, look, that's the point. Let me say it again. So I don't know if you caught that, but Duncan Trussell is on record for saying that some poor bastard out there sitting next to a waterfall without a phone, not realizing how scared and miserable he's supposed to be. Like, that's a bad paraphrase, but I mean, look, you don't have to like tune into the darkness, though the darkness will find you and tune into you. So just yeah, there you go. To recap, I know you dropped there for a second, but welcome back.
I also feel like the darkness is the light, and it also ties into some Satanism, everyone, attaches onto the cliches of Satanism, but to be fair, a lot of that was just pinned on, more, it's like, okay, you worship in these like evil being, but you get in the whole Luciferianism thing, the light bringer, he's trying to bring light and independence, and in a way, like more, okay, if you're a real Satanist, you're claiming yourself as a god, and that's your own powerful thing. It wasn't about worshiping some deity, but it was more about just worshiping yourself and pushing yourself to the fullest capacity that you could. That was its own form of Satanism. So bringing the light into you as an individual, so it's a whole other thing. So, but no one talks about that. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why it's open to these ideas, and we're here to kind of help each other stay central, because it looks central's a pillar. It is. It's a pillar from the storm and the winds, and the pillar is us, bro. It's us together. And just because you can't find a good idea in a moment, a positive idea, come here, come hang out. You know me. Look, I can go dark, I can go light, I can go everywhere in between, and sort of navigate the whirlwind. And the point is that people need to stick together. That's the whole point. So that's what we're doing, and thank you for dipping in here. What else you got? Great stuff as always, my man.
No, just that. I like the magic, but I don't know where it is these days. So,
hey, so if you like the magic, don't give up hope that it could return to exactly where you need to be, because it is the nature of magic, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna hop on a train right now, so I might be cutting off with you. So I'll probably end it on that. Okay,
you're the best. Appreciate the call.
Y'all have a good night.
Thanks a lot. You too. Travel safe. Jacob Harsherboy, check him out. Talented musician. Links in the description, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It says follow Jacob here. And he plays a 7-string guitar, in case you're into that type of stuff. That's super awesome to me. I love that. And go check it out. Jacob right there. Click it. It'll take you to his music. And please go check it out. That's the whole point, is getting together and sharing, look, our talents together. Everybody's good at something. And those talents should be on display in whatever way we can help highlight. And here we are. Look, it's part of what Troubled Minds is. And you know what the advantage we have versus the AI acceleration, as I like to call it, is we're human. We are here sharing human ideas, and we will be into that fractal, into that idea of the singularity itself. We're going to go into that. Fearless, wide-eyed, and unafraid. Because we're humans together talking about human ideas. And that's the way I see this. And we have an advantage. We have an advantage because, cross your fingers, we stick together. There's an Orwell quote that I think is very apt that I'll bring up in a minute. James, anything you got? And then we'll go to a Derek the Night Stalker.
Yeah, great calls from everyone. I do. Mattel kind of put things in the way I was thinking when he called. Actually, is that it's not that I think everyone that that but gets this new toy, this new set, is going to have a anomalous experience. I do wonder, are some going to have those kinds of experiences because of an interaction of these toys and whatever else might already be around in their areas when it comes to anomalous energies or all those kind of things, entities, ghosts, spirits, whatever. I do agree with his sort of caution in all of this, but also, I don't think it's going to happen in every single case either.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's complicated per usual. But looking at the longer version of this, like I said, the older I get, the more I start to recognize some things aren't like I thought they were, and that's the point. That's the point of being part of a conversation together, and you being here tonight. I appreciate you very much. I didn't shout you out earlier. James Salcido, SalcidoParanormal.com, SALSIDO Paranormal.com, the paranormal expert at Troubled Minds. We were having some technical issues early and late and stuff, and Discord's been weird tonight. But thank you for bearing with that and being patient, and you're the best. Get back to you at the end if we got some time, and we will. We'll make some time for you. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Go to Derek in Massachusetts, the Night Stalker.
Yep.
What's going on, my man?
What's going on, Brutus?
Welcome to the thing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. You sound great. There's Derek had some stuff. He's like, oh crap, I got some stuff I got to do. I might not make it. I appreciate you again hustling through that and just gritting your teeth and stuff. Welcome to the thing.
Like I always say, I'm sprinting and running around before I get to my car and make the call, which is true. But this time I really was. I brought in the perishable load. Like it came early, and it usually takes like 40 minutes. I was able to do it in like 15 to get here. So I'm very much out of breath.
Hopefully you don't have any bruises. Dear God.
Yeah, hopefully not. I'll find out tomorrow. We usually do though. But yeah, I mean, I got a few thoughts here. I'll try to be quicker. So somebody mentioned James, like if these things have like actual spells on them, if these things can be used to summon entities and stuff. And I haven't been able to Google anything. I haven't I don't have any real things for you, but I've been meaning to mention this to you guys. Or no, I did mention this to you guys. The Minions and Monsters Super Bowl trailer. You see this? They had a section in the beginning where the Minions summon Cthulhu, and then it ends up summoning a mini Cthulhu. And people who haven't seen it, it opens up. It shows like the actual Necronomicon and a real more realistic, more like scary version of Cthulhu in the book. And then they're all in a circle. There's a bunch of sigils on the ground. All of a sudden, some green smoke happens. There's all kind of lights and scariness, and then the smoke reveals a minion-sized Cthulhu, or whatever. And then the trailer begins, and he helps them like find monsters and stuff. But we're talking about getting kids into the idea of summoning stuff, and we talk about Cthulhu all the time. Like that kind of took me back a little bit. What do you think?
That was pointing at you, James. We're good. Go, James.
Sorry. Oh yeah, that's wild. And yeah, you did mention that. That's fascinating to me. And again, all these crossovers between things, they're creating almost like that word. I hardly ever use it because I don't think about it much. But fractals, they're creating versions of these characters that have existed for, in some cases, decades, almost a century, I guess, for Lovecraft stuff. Yeah, that's fascinating that this is happening, and through all this media and intellectual properties and all that. That is wild that that's happening with such a kid-oriented franchise such as that. As far as I know, anyway, I thought it was kid-oriented, but I don't know. It is wild.
Yeah, it's weird. This meme keeps popping up for me the past few days. And I'm not looking at it right now, but it was something along the lines of like people were screaming during the popularity of Pokemon during the heyday in the 90s of Pokemon. Like it's demons, it's getting kids to summon demons and satanic and stuff. And then the Pope had to come out and be like, no, it's just it's inventive and it's imagination. And Pokemon is not demonic. Pokemon is not satanic. Your kids aren't getting captured by demons when they're trying to capture Pokemons. Which I thought was funny. I saw it a bunch of times today. And then randomly the other day, my mother, I was just like doing something or whatever. I didn't mention anything to her, but she brought up like a Ouija board to me. I'm not sure if she was watching something on TV or something. She goes, yeah, as a kid, we used a Ouija board a few times. I'm like, oh, really? She's like, oh, yeah, it's fun. There's like nothing really to it. And I'm like, oh, I probably wouldn't do that now. And she was kind of taken aback by that. She was surprised that I wouldn't use a Ouija board. She's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't really believe in it like that strongly, like, but I believe in it enough to want to avoid the bad luck aspect of it. Like, I don't necessarily believe if I step on a crack in the street, I break my mother's back, like the old nursery rhyme says, or whatever, or like walking under a ladder and stuff. I don't necessarily believe that walking under a ladder will give me bad luck, but I'm also going to walk around the ladder if I see it too, just in case, you know. So she kind of visualized, or in her head contextualizes Ouija board as like the light as a feather, stiff as a board, kind of like just like a kind of sleepover game. And she's not like religious at all. She's not witchy at all. She's like, there's nothing really weird about her besides the fact that she's just weird, which I think is kind of like, and so I didn't get any of my interest in weirdness from her, and she was playing with Ouija boards. So like that's a little context of that. And then there's an AI Ouija board from Hasbro that's coming out. It just came out that doesn't require any use of a board, but you can still talk to the spirits and everything. And then just as far as like the trends, or what do you think about that first? I need a drink. I'm rambling real bad, but just what do you think? Sorry.
That's funny to me. Which like a digital Ouija board is like, well, it's called a prompt, and it's an LLM, and you type into the black box and you get answers back. Like how much more do you need to do than like sort of a branded, Ouija behind it, and you're good to go. Like this has been something we've talked about for a long time, but I wonder how they're going to implement that. I mean, it's easy. I guess I could do it probably tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, by the way. Maybe I'll do it myself. Yeah. Let's beat him to the market. I mean that in the best way. But I don't know. Yeah. Like that type of thing is like you type the thing in, you get the answer back. It's like, isn't that the old way? Isn't that the old way of the Milton Bradley board from the 1980s? Anyway, late 70s, early 80s. Anyway, go ahead. I think it's funny.
I guess maybe this has taken away the limitation. Like you don't even need friends anymore. You don't even need to go to the store. This is for all the xenophobic people who are afraid to go outside. You can still use a Ouija board without the Ouija board and without the friends. Like just download the app. But yeah, I mean, just as far as the trends and the trajectory and are we getting more satanic panicky, or are we getting more witchy? And I think it's kind of a two-pronged thing. Like this is all reaction stuff. We mentioned this time before, but just like millennials. I'm a millennial. I've been seeing, like, so for the last decade plus, I've been seeing on Tinder the popularity of witchy. It's a personality trait now. Like people say witchy is the same way they say I'm into the Celtics or I'm into the Red Sox. And people, like girls, will just have a crystal ball emoji just to indicate, or like a witch hat just to indicate that they're into the spooky stuff. And that's since like 2012, and it's like definitely since 2016. And then like Gen Z, I've been hearing a lot from like parents, like on Facebook and stuff, of their Gen Z kids. This, again, for a while, the Gen Z is less into superheroes and they're more into spooky stuff. They're more into Stranger Things. They're more into Wednesday and that type of thing. They're interested less in capes and cowls and more in broomsticks and magic wands and that type of stuff. And then you see like I'm seeing again a bunch of memes of like young millennials being like these adults will never understand my aesthetic, and then showing Gen Z like looking like gothic, kind of looking like. Have you seen Kanye's daughter recently? How she's kind of being allowed to dress herself, and she has like black grills in her mouth, so her teeth look all blacked out, and she's like has a bunch of fake face tattoos, and she's like really going. It looks gothy, but I think it's kind of the Gen Z punky aesthetic, kind of, and it makes me think like to some degree, I don't want to be the old fogey. I don't get why you guys are looking like that. And another part of me is like maybe they are kind of, maybe it is kind of a manifestation of their interest in the weird, as it's starting to dress a little like Marilyn Manson, but more mainstream, more like a neon Marilyn Manson kind of. Have you seen that? Have you noticed that?
I've seen.
Did I get that okay too? By the way, sorry.
Yeah, no. I've seen some of the headlines on this. Like I try very hard not to click, because if I do, right, it just floods you with that crap. Yeah. So I try really hard not to. But I have seen some of those headlines kind of just scrolling through the generic stuff. And the way I get my news, guys, I've said this in the past, is I do it through sort of an incognito version of Google News, so I can kind of pick things through, so they don't just fire crap at me like bikini pics or whatever. You know what I mean? So like it's like, oh, this is what you like, so let's feed you more of the same crap. No, like I kind of peel through it in a generic space and then kind of pick and choose what I want. So it's not the algorithm, algorithm feeding me the information. But yeah, I feel you. And you know what? I have a take on that, which is maybe get off my lawn. But I mean, I'm sure you're shocked because I have no tattoos on me that you can visibly see, but I also have none at all. But I always thought, like, even when I was young, like, it was like 10, I'm like, counterculture doesn't necessarily mean, and I didn't even know what the term counterculture meant, but like the people that were trying to be so were very obvious. And so I always thought personally that counterculture isn't about how you look. Counterculture is about how you think. Welcome to Troubled Minds. Go ahead, sir.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. No, just the tattoo thing. I have no tattoos either. And I've been like, even before I got into kind of analyzing trends, I definitely noticed the trend of, like, I just watched the 01 NBA All-Star game just on Peacock. It has just a throwback because it's NBA All-Star weekend this weekend. And Allen Iverson is the only one with tattoos on the court. And if you look at it right now, everyone has, like, LeBron is fully covered in tattoos and stuff. And this in like 08, there was the backs and tattoos, like the rap scene just got super into tattoos, like little, like, people, and then just that trickled into just like the college age kids being like, I don't even know what I want to get, but I want to get a tattoo. I know I want to get tatted up. And my sister got one. She's like, the idea of just like, I don't know what I want to scar my body with, but I want to get scarred up is just a strange thing to me. And then
it's weird, yeah, exactly.
I always quote it's weird. And I always quote Prince, like in Prince's last album, he goes tattoo-less and proud. And so I've been saying since like 2010 that, like, in a few decades, having no tattoos will be considered sexy to a certain degree. That to be, I don't know, to have a clean temple. No, but I do also like tattoos. I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Understand the appeal of it, and I do like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
100%. I agree. 100%. I do like them too. The thing is, right? It seems like when you cover your body with them and you want people to look at you for it, it's like you're trying too hard. Like, yeah, there's a little more to that. To me, again, if you're like, get off my lawn, you old crank, fine. But that's just the way I saw it then, and it's still the way I see it. Maybe I'll get a neck tattoo one of these days. It'll be super sweet. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a big troubled mind. It's alien on your forehead, like in your like I'm marking your third eye or something.
Totally. And look, I'm not knocking you fine folks that have tattoos out there. Just as it's a
no, Sam.
Yeah. I do love it. Like there's some really artful stuff that I'm like, damn, that's super cool. But like, you can't take it off to me.
Yeah. I would freak out. That would be something just like one day you wake up and just, like, my friend, my roommate in college, he was like really awesome at Halo, and he has one tattoo now, and it's the Halo legendary, like, it's the alien head with the two swords going through it, like the skull and crossbones, but with an alien head, giant on his back. And he got that in like 09 just because he wanted to get a tattoo. And I'm like, and I was thinking the other day, did he regret that now in 2026? Now that he's a dad and he only has one tattoo, that he's a giant alien in the back, like on the back of him. I don't know, just it's a tangent. But so all that's happening. The trend of like the witchiness is becoming cool. Like metaphysics, like Mattel was saying, is very popular now. Consciousness is obviously huge. Spooky stuff is big with Gen Z. So like if my mother was super into tarot and witchy stuff, it would definitely have affected me. And I wonder, like, my generation of who like this, I'm sure that they're being affected by it and stuff. And then at the same token, we're the most demon haunted I've ever seen this country in my entire life. We're in the most satanic panicky time I've ever seen. Maybe, like, I don't know. I mean, probably less than the original Satanic Panic, but just the demons are in the zeitgeist as far as just a term people are throwing around a lot. Like Tucker Carlson saying he's getting attacked, like, basically the face of the right. He's getting attacked and scratched up by demons and while he's sleeping and everything. I mean, obviously, like, the whole Super Bowl, like the whole TPUSA Christian Super Bowl thing, like a lot of the pushback to Christianity seems like a response to the kind of Epstein list style, we're being run by satanic monsters type of thing. That, like, it's less of like, I want to feel the light of God on me, less so like I'm afraid of demons and I'm afraid of demons getting me and stuff. And I feel like, so what are those now? Like all of that, like all the parents being like, and if you search Super Bowl demonic, you'll find a ton of mainstream articles talking about this. Like, and they always do one step removed, being like, this person, this influencer, this blank says that Bad Bunny is demonic. So they don't have to say it themselves in the headline, but it's still, if you search blank demon, it's everywhere. And what are those kids going to be? Are those kids going to be scared of demons in the same way? And are we kind of moving in this bifurcated fashion where the ingredients to the next witch trials happens, that we're going to have a whole tier, like a 2-tier population, one that's just absolutely terrified of anything witchy, and others that are like unbelievably into it. And what is that going to make? And then I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it all makes sense, and this is the whole point of look. I don't know the answers here. You're the same. We're in the space of like, okay, so there's all this information flowing through. What do we do with it? Like now, what do we do? As usual, like I like to think about, okay, so ideas are great, but what can you do with it? Like if it influences you personally and you can make better changes in your own life, fine, good. That's the point. And if you touch one person, it's you've done God's work. But then you scale that, and you've done a great more than that. But also, there's people out there that would say to me, Mike's satanic, right? And there's people out there that would recognize that I'm not, because I don't live in those silos of one thing or the other, and kind of don't. I mean, I tiptoe around the blasphemy aspect because I'm just not trying to offend people. But I think there's a whole aspect of ideas that will make us powerful. And if we, sort of just trim a ton of them off, we're doing ourselves a disservice in the larger sense. And so all of this definitely plays.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of myself. Like, I do think it's fun to say aliens or demons, or to get into the weird stuff, or AI is a demon. And like, I'm the first one to mention that on a show and stuff. I think it's fun and interesting to think about and stuff. But, there's people who take that much more seriously, and I just say it much more tongue in cheek, and I'm not necessarily as afraid. But also part of it, I don't want my voice being used by AI and stuff. Like, half of it because I don't know the metaphysical implications of it and all kind of weirdness. So I'm not. It's tricky. We're in a tricky wicket right now. It's a tricky wicket. As far as the inversion, like the kind of the breath in and out. Maybe they're taking us somewhere. Maybe it's kind of like the balance in the force, where sometimes it seems like the Jedi are leading. Sometimes it feels like the Sith are leading. And it's all they believe they're finding balance, like an inhale, exhale. But I think it's more like they're moving it's a step, one foot. It's like when the right foot's stepping out, the left foot feels like they're losing. When the left foot's stepping out, the right foot might feel like they're losing, but they don't understand that they're walking to a destination. Maybe they're taking it somewhere.
The same destination.
Where.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And just the idea of like, anyway, we're running out of time. That's it. That's all I got. Sorry, brother. Thank you.
No, you're the best. Thanks for powering through that thing to get in here. You're the best. Appreciate you very much. Have a great night. You know me, love you. Derek the Night Stalker. Give him a follow. You know where to find him. TroubledMinds.org/friends. Scroll down. It says follow the Night Stalker here. Please do that, or follow Night Stalker. Yeah, look, he's right. Look, this is my point. And touche, by the way. So I was kind of crapping on tattoos a little bit, and I didn't mean it like that. Okay, I really didn't. I appreciate them a great deal. I just see the other side of it. But also, shout out, I actually, is that who it was? It said something in the thing. I'm going to express my individuality and creativity by wearing a uniform like everybody else. And you can see that both ways, right? That's a touche one way or the other. Whether you're tatted up or you're not, that statement plays in fractal, right? I mean, this is the whole point. And I don't care. Like, the judgment to me doesn't come from individuals like that. But listen to yourself and recognize what's happening with you and how you try and present yourself. That's all. And why? I don't know. Control mechanisms, as I always say, it's important. This stuff is, like I said, the whole reason I talk about these ideas is because they've haunted me forever. Honestly, I'm here because I'm haunted. Okay? Haunted by ideas. And thank the good Lord, okay, that I have a place here to talk about these ideas with my friends. So thank you for bearing with me and my imperfections and my humanity and recognizing that that's exactly what this is. James, anything else? Got a minute or so? All yours if you got anything.
Just in honor of Derek, are we sure the Jedi are good? But I think that kind of can apply to a lot of things. And thank you for having me on as always. And looking forward to the next time. Great calls from everyone. And again, thank you for having me on.
You are the best. Glad to have you. James Salcido, again, Salcido Paranormal, SALSIDO Paranormal.com. Go check out that website. It's better and snappier than ever. And I'm about to make some changes to it as well. So we're going to add some stuff and whatnot. A collaboration with James. So go check it out, please, SalcidoParanormal.com. While you're doing that, check out our friends. Help all our friends in all the places, TroubledMinds.org/friends. That's the whole point. If you want to help us directly, you can buy the cool swag at TroubledFans.com. Yes, it is a play on OnlyFans, but you will not find Michael Strange in a hot tub. But you will find the hottest Troubled Minds merch around. Basically, look, We're here talking ideas. This is not an agenda other than radical agnosticism. Let's put it all together. Let's be human-centric. Let's talk to each other. Let's support each other. And let's let AI sort itself out until the moment comes. And you know what to do when it does. I'll be with you. I'm Team Human 100%. That's it. If you want to help us directly, spread the word. Let people know what conversation is happening, what we're not going to tell you who to vote for. We're not going to chase down mainstream narratives. We're going to think outside the box, and we're going to talk to regular people. That's it, right? It's simple, except it takes a long time to get, because you can't just like fire this up and have people show up. You have to. It's literally years of work to get to this point. So I appreciate it very much, and I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out and being part of this. And that's that. As we finish, it goes exactly like this. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.